With the SERP, she is continuously involved in efforts relating to issues of women and children. Avinash, in whose jurisdiction we are right now, and without the support of the local police, it's not possible to have any event. And everybody else from women's safety, including DIG, Rema, who were instrumental in organizing this. So, as head of the Women's Safety Wing of Telangana Police, I stand before you with a deep commitment to our collective mission, and that is to eradicate human trafficking and for the safety of women and children, all of who are vulnerable to various forms of exploitation. We are here not to merely discuss a problem, but to confront a global crisis. The heinous crime of anti-trafficking is one of the serious modern day slavery that preys on the vulnerable, exploiting them for profit in the darkest corners of the world. Human trafficking requires a multifaceted approach. In the next 2 days, experts from various areas, various states will share their insights, discuss the emerging trends, and explore the best practice that have proven effective in tackling, combating across the world. We will also hear from survivors of trafficking, learn about the critical role of the media, and focus on the importance of victim-centric responses and deterrence. Human trafficking is a constantly evolving crime, and presently it is the fastest growing crime worldwide. One of the, I'm told, is the second fastest. Probably the first must be the cyber crimes with what is happening now in the world over. Now, trafficking is a complex problem, and there is no one size fits all kind of a solution. Keeping that in mind, in Telangana, a special module under the Women's Safety Wing spearheads the various initiatives under this head. We are one of the first states to have dedicated AHTU in each and every district. So we have 31 AHTU teams working across the state. We have also forged partnerships with reputed NGOs, IGM being one of them. In this year itself, we have conducted almost 1,600 awareness programs covering 27,000 citizens in hotspots in Telangana. Similarly, we have a dedicated missing persons module, and while the percentage of tracing missing persons is somewhere around 53% for adults and 63% for children in the country average, in Telangana, our figures are about 88% for adults and 87% for children. Now, this has been possible because the specialized monitoring cell which we are existing with us, and also the use of an in-house facial recognition app called Darpan. We are also a state which has taken action against traffickers under the preventive detection, and 147 repeat offenders were booked under the PD Act. We've opened history sheets against many of them. There is still a lot to be done with respect to repeat offenders, and Prajwala is the one which is spearheading this movement. Under Operation Smile and Muskan, we all know, the ones who are in this room, that this is a program which happens nationwide. However, year on year, Telangana has done best in the country. We've rescued about 62,000 children in the last decade. And we have the largest number of cases which are registered post Operation Smile and Muskan in the country. Not that we have the biggest problem of anti-trafficking. There are many states where this is a much bigger issue. However, since we believe in a zero tolerance towards trafficking, that is why we are the ones who are registering more cases than anybody else. Just last month, I was at a national conference organized by the BBA in Delhi, and they pointed out that 70% of the cases which are registered in trafficking post Operation Smile and Muskan are actually in Telangana. than anywhere else in the country. The government has under the Samagra Shiksha Abhiyan 120 bridge schools which are presently functioning in 10 districts of Telangana, and more than 2,500 migrant children are getting education in these schools. You all know about the Bharosa initiatives of the Telangana police, which is a victim-centric approach and a center for victims, women and children victims of crime. And here we handle them throughout their journey and handhold them throughout their journey in the criminal justice system. The victim compensation, which is managed through the Bharosa centers, we've been able to get to about 2,400 clients, more than 10 crores of amount as victim compensation. So while much has been done, we all can agree that the room for improvement is the biggest room in the house. And therefore, the new challenges which are coming to trafficking, especially the issue of use of online platforms for enabling trafficking, especially sex and organ trade, and the new trend of cyber slavery, which is happening in Southeast Asia, where it is estimated that thousands of, as per the figures given to us, it's about 5,000 people are stuck up. But when we were discussing with IGM, I'm told that the number is even larger. That they are stuck up in these Southeast Asian countries and are being made to commit cyber offenses. This is another kind of trafficking which is now an issue which we need to tackle, and I hope in the next 2 days that the discussions happen. We are able to bring out a white paper on what is required to be done at all levels, from the level of a police station to the level of the country at the national level, to tackle the issue of trafficking. I am sure the suggestions which emerge in this consultation will be useful for all of us across the country who are working in this field. So as we begin this consultation today, let us remember that every statistics represents a living person, a child, a man or a woman who deserves safety, who deserves freedom, and who deserves fame. So let us resolve today that we will not rest until every chain is broken and every human life can live with dignity and peace. Thank you, all of you, and thanks for being with us today.
Thank you, ma'am, for continuously driving us forward and for bringing home the most important point, that the victims of trafficking are actually victims of a very unscrupulous industry. With these words, I'd like to take this opportunity to request Senior Vice President, International Justice Mission, Mr. Ajoy Varghese, to address the gathering. Sir, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's a privilege to share the dais with such distinguished and focused leaders in the space of anti-human trafficking. Honorable Women and Children Welfare Minister Srimati Dhanasiri Anasuya Seethakka, Dr. Jitender, IPS Director General of Police, Mrs. Shika Goel, Director General of Police, Women and Safety Wing, Telangana, Mr. Avinash Mohanty, IPS Commissioner of Police, Hyderabad, Mrs. Sunita Krishnan, Ms. Sunita Krishnan, Padma Shri Awardee and co-founder of Prajwala, Ms. Abhilasha Bhatt, IPS Director, Telangana State Academy, Srimati Divya Devarajan, IAS Director, Society for Elimination of Rural Poverty. It really is my honor to be part of this conversation. It's my special honor to be on the dais with respected Srimati Dhanasiri Anasuya Seethakka, the Honorable Minister of Women and Children Welfare. Ma'am, your unwavering commitment to safeguarding the women of Telangana and your efforts to ensure their safety and protection will make a profound impact across the state. It's a trailblazing step forward that the government of the state of Telangana is considering a special allocation for each department in the state to ensure women's safety, and that women's safety committees are likely to be constituted in all departments. It's my great privilege to acknowledge the leadership of Dr. Jitender IPS, Director General of Police. Sir, your firm stand on enforcing a zero-tolerance policy against crimes targeting women and children contributes to creating a safer environment for all. Your leadership in enhancing the police department's emergency response systems is a critical step forward in the protection of the victims of human trafficking. It's also my great privilege to acknowledge the presence of Srimati Shikha Goel, IPS. Ma'am, as the Director General of Police of the Women's Safety Wing, your focused leadership through flagship programs like Bharosa and SHE teams, where you have set critical standards in women's safety for all of us to learn from. The continued success of initiatives like Operation Smile and Operation Muskan each year is vital in contributing the crime of human trafficking amongst the most vulnerable sections of our society. Over the next 2 days, we will have conversations between decision makers and practitioners from multiple states in the country. This is extremely significant, as the technical and human-focused exchanges between many of us on stage and off stage will show. These conversations will also showcase the importance of collaboration and convergence between states and within the states on a borderless yet clearly locally committed crime such as human trafficking. I must express my deep appreciation for everyone who has committed to being here for these 2 days to make a difference, despite the critical responsibilities that each one of us hold. Finally, let me underscore the importance of working towards measurable impact. In 3 states in the country that International Justice Mission and its partners have worked for 2 decades and more, independent and diverse studies have shown that when the central and the state criminal justice systems lead the charge against human trafficking consistently and in a confidence-building manner, measurable drop in the prevalence of crime is noticeable. In Greater Mumbai, for example, the prevalence of minors among sex workers in public establishments dropped from close to 40% about 20 years ago to less than 1% 2 years ago. In Kolkata, the prevalence of minors for sex in public places dropped from close to 35% approximately 20 years ago to less than 1% when measured in 2021. In Tamil Nadu, the prevalence of bonded labor among manual laborers dropped from close to 30% in 2015 to less than 5% when measured 2 years ago. These results have inspired us and our partners to prospect and work towards a future where all states in the country will have measurable change through projects led by local governments and supported by others, especially on the issue of human trafficking of children, women, and men. While these independent studies had their technical limits and other limitations, they are an indication, an example, that not only is it useful for governments to lead change through law enforcement against organized crime, it is also an indication that the impact of that change can be meaningfully measured when the exercise is undertaken well. It also means that in newer trends in human trafficking, we can look forward to measuring impact as all of us think and work together for looking ahead. Once again, I want to express my heartfelt gratitude to all on the dais and all present at this very important and, I believe, path-breaking consultation. Thank you and Jai Hind.
Thank you, Mr. Verghese, for your words and also for being a very gracious co-host of this event. Now I request Commissioner of Police, Hyderabad, Shri Avinash Mohanty IPS, to address the gathering. So please. Yes.
Good morning, everybody. Honorable Minister for Women and Child Welfare, the Director General of Police, the Director General Women Safety, Director of the Telangana Police Academy, Shri Ajay Varghese, Senior Vice President of IJM, Srimati Sunita Krishnan, Srimati Divya Devarajan, my colleague Rama, ladies and gentlemen. I will not attempt to repeat trying to highlight the menace of what human trafficking is, which I am sure everybody here present is quite an expert at. As a police officer, one would like to learn from the experiences of different stakeholders who have been conducting studies as well as working on the ground tirelessly to eradicate this issue. There are, I'm sure, a lot of problems in a very dynamic world, technology being the foremost